All right, hey everyone. It is just about 12:02 here, and I'm just getting all the cameras and social media stuff all set up here and giving everyone a few moments to join in if they're going to join in, and we'll get started. Okay, so let's get started. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mara Salerno, and I am a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner of ReclaimOptimalHealth.com, where I help couples just like you resolve their infertility and get back to making those dream families that you had so intended. So, today we are going to be talking about what supplements really support your gut and how that in turn really supports egg quality and implantation. So I'm going to go over some very specific supplements with you all that I like to use with my clients. And I'm going to talk about the importance of gut health in regards to your fertility and what it can mean if it's not in good shape. So we're going to jump into that. And I just want you all to know that what I'm sharing with you today is really kind of like step 2 of my program. So step 1 is just investigation, all about running good lab testing. So when I'm sharing these gut support supplements with you, what I typically do is first run testing to make sure that we have what you individually would need. But these are some common themes that I see come up, but you may not need all of them. So please don't go running out and just buy everything underneath the sun, because you've probably already been doing that. But really, I want you to get some information and hopefully some motivation to begin doing some functional lab testing for yourself so that you can really identify which of these supplements you do truly need and that will actually benefit your particular scenario. So yes, step 2 is, getting going, an action plan and getting going on your supplements and on your journey. Now, working with clients, I can tell you that there has been 0 clients I have ever worked with that do not have gut issues. That means everyone that I work with has gut issues. Their gut is compromised and it's affecting their fertility. Now, for some, it's contributing to their fertility maybe in a smaller manner, and for others in a much larger manner. So it kind of depends on the spectrum, but regardless, it's affecting everyone, both men and women, and young and older. So it doesn't matter across the spectrum. And I really think this has to do with our modern day society, lots of toxic chemicals and ingredients, environmental toxins that we have to try to digest. But on top of that, the food supply is just riddled with awful food, toxic food that everyone is consuming. And not only that, but just consuming foods that are just not so great for you, and not consuming whole foods, a lot of foods out of packages. I mean, yes, we live in 2021 and we have all this like cool technology and all these wonderful things that we enjoy, makeup, etc., right? but and how our ancestors, ate really pure, clean, very simple food. So when you start getting in that mindset of like, oh my God, this is so hard, I don't know what to eat, et cetera, bring yourself back to thinking about our ancestors, because it will start to really put things into perspective for you in regards to our food system and what it's really doing. It's not only is it hampering your fertility, which is the biggest thing that's most important to you, but it's robbing you of true health. It's robbing our society of great health in order for us all to achieve the highest human experience we can. So it's a big deal. So when we're talking about your gut and reproduction and fertility, there's many components, but the ones I'm going to share with you at the moment are these, which is that you have to be able to digest your hormones. Your hormones literally go through the digestive tract, and then you utilize them, particularly estrogen, for example, right? Once your body's done utilizing it for what it needs hormonally, then whatever is excess should be secreted out or defecated, right? So what happens is when you're overburdened with estrogen because of hormone increasing chemicals, hormone imbalancing toxins, because of birth control, whatever it may be, stress, all of these could be increasing your estrogen production. And if you're not detoxifying, cleaning up your body properly on a regular basis, then you start experiencing something that's called estrogen dominance, which is where you have too much estrogen that is toxic. And this is what is dangerous, causes infertility, causes all kinds of female cancers, et cetera, et cetera. So we want to be able to have a really well-oiled gut machine and that you're defecating regularly. Now, for a lot of people, going once a day is great. And for some of you, that may be the best achievement. For some of you, it can be challenging just to be able to go once a day. But I would aim to try to get you to work up to, pooping 2 to 3 times a day. And this way we keep everything really moving efficiently and getting toxins out, getting food that's sitting there out, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So that's one reason. The other reason we want to have a really well functioning gut is because the gut lining that we have, right? The gut lining is kind of like bound together by these fingers. And when it gets holes in it and gets separated, like there's a drop through passage, this is where food particles and pathogens can drop through. And that's not supposed to happen. And when these will tag your immune system through your bloodstream, and your bloodstream tags that food, usually it's a food that's being tagged, and it'll put your body on high alert. And when it puts your body on high alert, then every time you consume that food, which is probably something that you enjoy eating, then, you're going to have an inflammatory reaction. And we know that infertility is really, it's a stress reaction. It's an inflammatory response. Possible. So one of the ways that we can do that, yes, is to remove foods we're sensitive to. Running a food sensitivities test would be great. But it's also repairing those tight junctions, those parts of your small intestine that are not going to allow these food particles and pathogens to be dropping through. So there's that. You also want to have your small intestine nicely intact, because then your immune system is not going to be hyperactive or hypersensitive. And if your immune system is not hyperactive or hypersensitive, then you're more likely to be able to hold a baby in your body to full term, particularly in those first 3 months. That for most people is the challenge. I know there are others that have greater challenge as well. It goes further along. But, being able to maintain the pregnancy is essential. Yes, miscarriage can have to do with your egg quality as well. But regarding the gut itself, being able to keep your immune system nice and calm in that stage where the embryo is trying to implant against the uterine lining, against the uterine wall, and your own immune system is recognizing this as an invader, you want to have the calmest immune system possible that's having just a normal, healthy response and not overreactive. So when you have a leaky gut, for example, and you've either got food particles or food sensitivities, I should say, or pathogens dropping through and hitting your immune system, it's going to make your immune response much more on high alert. And so you can see how in that luteal phase where you need the pregnancy to begin to hold and embed itself in the uterine lining and such, you want to have everything nice and calm. So I hope that makes sense. The waiting warrior. Have you, does that make sense to you, what I just said about miscarriage and implantation and the immune system? So if you guys have any questions about any of that, let me know in the comments. I'm going to kind of start moving along here into gut supporting supplements that I frequently use. Again, I like using a stool test. So a stool test like the Gut Zoomer or the GI map. I know some people are using Biome FX. I'm not as familiar with that one. But there's a lot of people that I respect that are using that. So I'm sure it probably has something of value to it. But these are some of the supplements I like to use. So when we're talking about a leaky gut, so that's where your small intestine lining is broken up and you're getting food sensitivities and pathogens dropping through. Something like Mucosa is amazing. This is made by Microbiome Labs. And Mucosa is just a genius at helping you to get your gut lining to basically rehab. This is why bone broth is so great, as long as you don't have a histamine response, something like that. But what it basically uses is immunoglobulins from bovine, from beef. So, and it comes in a powder form. They call this the raspberry lemon flavor. You know, I don't know about the flavor itself as far as like my opinion of how great it is. I mean, it's okay, but I get it down and I love what it does for my gut and for my clients' guts. So that's one. Two other formulas that I love from Microbiome Labs is this Mega IgG 2000. And this one is all about that immune response. It's about bringing your immune response into a healthy, normal functioning immune system so that it's not hypersensitive and so that it's also not kind of dead. Because oftentimes what happens is if your immune system has been fighting a fight for so long, we'll see that your SIG IgA marker on your stool test could be quite low. And that could be another reason why you're having a difficult time maintaining a pregnancy or sometimes even conceiving. Okay, lastly by Microbiome Labs is this one called Megaspore Probiotic. And this is a spore-based probiotic. And I love this because it assimilates so much better in people's bodies instead of just like, dumping all these different probiotics in. It's a spore-based probiotic, so it works with a slightly different technology. You can look it up. They have so much research at Microbiome Lab, on all of their products, which is fantastic. So you can check that out. And we know that women who are able to conceive naturally and maintain healthy pregnancies, they have a very specific set of bacteria in their gut along that whole journey that allows them the ability to more easily conceive and maintain pregnancy to full term. So that's why using a spore-based probiotic, I think, is the way to go. I know other people have other successes with other kind of probiotic-based items, but that is my go-to. Let's see. Now, this is a digestive enzyme. You could also use something called digestive bitters. There's a lot of different companies that make these. This one has hydrochloric acid in it. And what is really tricky about digestive enzymes is knowing when to use them. So a lot of times people will use digestive enzymes before the meal because that's what it indicates on the bottle. But sometimes they can actually work better after a meal. Other items that you could ingest that help to stimulate digestive flow in the gut, because remember, we're looking to enhance overall gut support in order to enhance not only implantation, but also the nutrients that are going into your body to help form those eggs into full growth, right? So most people are either eating too fast, they're not chewing their food enough, or they've got a leaky gut. They're not really absorbing their nutrients from their food. Not only because it's toxic food, but there's damage that's been done in the body. So using digestive enzymes, I find, is very helpful for most people. Every once in a while, I get some unicorns that are pretty awesome, and they don't need any. The only thing to watch out for when we're talking about hydrochloric acid is that if you have something called H. pylori, which typically, not always, typically comes along with GERD or acid reflux, then you definitely want to be mindful about hydrochloric acid because it can be irritating. But, things change all the time. New things happen all the time. So that would be my recommendation to you. But I was going to say other things that you can use, yes, are apple cider vinegar. You can take like a teaspoon in, a little bit of water, maybe like a couple ounces of water, and take it as a shot kind of maybe 15 minutes or so before you're going to eat a meal, if you can remember. And that'll get all your digestive juices percolating, hydrochloric acid percolating in the body, etc. Okay, these are my last two. So selenium is one of those major nutrients in the body that we need for optimal gut health. I mean, it's just one of them. But I love selenium. Selenium also really supports the thyroid. We can also get a good dose of selenium through Brazil nuts. So if you don't need the autoimmune paleo diet, or you're not sensitive to Brazil nuts, then eating like 4 or 5 of those a day can give you 250 milligrams worth of selenium, which is about the same that you'd get in a capsule, which is kind of cool. You just want to make sure that your body's actually able to digest it. That's kind of the tricky part. Okay, now lastly is magnesium glycinate. I love this stuff. Magnesium is just amazing. There's so many different kinds of magnesium, but magnesium glycinate in particular is really great for the gut, and it's great for sleep. Now, if you take this in the morning hours, it should not make you sleepy, okay? But, I usually recommend 5 times your body weight in milligrams when it comes to magnesium glycinate. Yes, it can make your bowels looser, so you can adjust accordingly. But magnesium glycinate is great, again, for nourishing the small intestine lining and keeping your gut nice and healthy so you can digest all of your hormones and start promoting, a healthier hormonal environment in your body. So let's see, that is my top 6 supplements. So that would be the Mega Mucosa by Microbiome Labs. It would be the Mega IgG 2000 by Microbiome Labs, and their Megaspore Probiotic. Those are great for helping the small intestine lining and the overall bacteria in your gut to support your fertility. And then digestive enzymes, digestive bitters, apple cider vinegar. There's all kinds of things for helping you to digest your food. Selenium and magnesium are wonderful supportive minerals for the gut as well, and the thyroid. So those are the supplements that I most commonly see for the gut that most of my clients utilize. Again, I utilize functional lab testing before I make these decisions. So a good stool test, and then also looking at food sensitivities so that we can try to remove, at least food-wise, you can get through a reset. Because remember, when you are doing this, you need at least 3 months to have a proper reproductive reset. Okay, it takes us about 3 months. Same for the liver. The liver needs, every 3 months it resets. So if you can stay with a good, healthy fertility diet, get on the proper supplements, get the right kind of support, and if you have the patience to wait for at least 2 cycles before you begin trying again, then, you'll be doing yourself a whole ton of good, because you'll be improving your egg quality, and you'll be calming down or balancing your immune system so that you can maintain that pregnancy to full term. Now, remember, this is just one aspect of my program, is the gut support. My program's called the Fertility Success Program, and I work with both women and couples. So, of course, if we can get the guys involved, which I'm sure you know, we get the best results, because when you're both working together towards your goal, you're going to have a higher percentage of conceiving and maintaining the pregnancy, because both of you are going to be healthy, and that's going to be seeded into your baby. I also invite you, if you haven't picked up my free fertility starter kit, to pick it up, because in there I help you get going on your fertility diet. Maybe if you've already gotten going on your fertility diet and you have some questions, you can reach out to me. If you want to add more lifestyle concepts, I have those in there as well. It's just a really great resource to get you going, food journaling, etc., etc. And it's very interactive. So, pick it up. You can go to my link in my bio and find it there, and it's free to you. And I think it's a great resource. So these are very typical things that I use with my clients. So if any of you have any questions for me, please drop them down in the comment box here, and I will do my best to answer them. And if you have any questions for me otherwise, or you want to DM me with any other questions you have or topics you want to hear me talk about in regards to fertility, I love hearing that, and I'm happy to serve you. So let me know. I'm just going to wait a moment. I guess for my question to those of you who are here with me right now is, have you investigated your gut at all, that it may be having an impact on your fertility? Sometimes we have obvious symptoms like gas and bloating and constipation, diarrhea, that kind of stuff. But sometimes we don't have symptoms that we think are directly related to our gut. And sometimes it's difficult to know, like, oh, I didn't know that was part of my gut health. So is that you? Oh, B is for baby. Okay, gotcha. So she says, hello, how can I get healthy bacteria in my uterus? I had testing that showed lack of bad bacteria, but also missing the good bacteria. Thank you. Okay, so that's a great question. So really, the way that you can impact the bacteria in your uterus is by working through the gut. Okay. And you're like, but my uterus is not in my gut. I get it, but it actually works. Remember, we're a fully connected being. So if you use something like Megaspore Probiotic and you work on also your overall gut health and improve what you're eating, and maybe you can answer for me if, you know, how your diet is. Have you been on a elimination diet? Have you identified any food sensitivities? Are you eating whole foods, that kind of stuff? If you can answer that for me, I can help you out a little bit more. But yeah, something like Megaspore Biotic is wonderful. I'll tell you too, a handy, very easy thing that you can do for your overall microbiome, because remember, our bacteria is all over our body. And we'll tend to have different forms of bacteria in different parts, but they all kind of help each other out. So we know that the gut bacteria affects fertility. It's going to affect your uterus, etc. So doing something by taking care of your mouth, which is brush your teeth with really good quality toothpaste. I like, what is the one I use? It's called Uncle Henry's, or no, Uncle Harry's. I really like that one, but there's a bunch of them out there. But a clean toothpaste. And then make sure that you scrape your tongue with a tongue scraper. If you can do oil pulling is amazing for taking care of the bacteria in your mouth. And why is that going to affect your uterus? Because, well, you're going to eat. You're going to start changing everything that goes from your mouth and comes down into your body, goes all the way down into your uterus. So it affects everything. And, you know, I love reminding everyone of this, which is that when a baby is born vaginally, as the baby's coming out, it's spinning, right? And as it spins out, it's actually, you know, getting a lick of your biome of the bacteria, not only from the vagina, but also from the anal area. And so that is why when I say to you, you can affect your uterine lining through your gut, and using a spore-based probiotic like Megaspore Biotic works is, I mean, that kind of gives you the idea, that interconnection. Does that answer what you were asking? Let me know if you guys have any other questions. I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, we'll pop off here in a moment. You know, when you're asking about uterine lining, yeah, okay, great. I'm glad it does. You know, the other thing I wanted to ask you is when it comes to your uterine lining, is it difficult for you with implantation in particular, and easier for you to conceive? Okay, everyone. Well, if you have any other questions for me, please do not hesitate to message me on DM. I'm more than happy to do my best to answer your questions. If there are topics that are personal to you that you want me to try to go into depth, I am happy to do that in these live sessions. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Again, please go pick up that free fertility starter kit in my link in my bio. And if you need support with functional lab testing, and you need a functional fertility health coach to help you do these things and analyze them and help you put together a proper fertility protocol, then please either DM me or you can go to my website, reclaimoptimalhealth.com/schedule, and you can schedule a qualifying call with me and we can sit down and talk about how we can get you closer to your baby. And I hope this was helpful for all of you. And I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Bye-bye.